Where were you on the night that police raided Occupy LA?
I was a civil disobedience medic, so I had planned to be there until the last possible moment. I didn't plan on leaving the park, so if I was arrested, I was arrested. So I was in the middle of the park when the police came out of City Hall, and they just totally like stormtrooped in and ran down the corridor and created a blockade between one of the walkways and the people that were in the center surrounding a tent doing civil disobedience. I was able to break through a line of police to get back into the center, so I ended up being in the center of the circle on the south lawn of City Hall.
So
Solidarity Park.
They arrested you.
And they arrested me, yes.
How did they arrest you?
I was sat down, I was locked arms with my partner and one of my close friends, and they came up and they took him off, they grabbed him off of me. What they did to me was they grabbed my left leg and twisted it to the side, pain compliance, and then another officer had his knee in my back, and another officer stuck his hands right here to choke me out. I have a bruise right here from where the officer was holding my pressure point or whatever, and I started screaming that he was choking me out, and he removed his hands because there were lots of cameras or police cameras in the area, and then lots of witnesses as well. So he took his hands away.
So they arrested you and took you to a facility. Where did they take you?
They arrested me. And they took me to Metro. And then from there, we waited in the bus for 2 hours before they took us in for booking. There were people on our bus whose handcuffs were so tight that their hands were turning blue. And we were trying for like maybe an hour to mic check the police to ask them to come in to loosen his cuffs because he was feeling sick from lack of circulation. And so finally they came in, they changed his cuffs. Several other people had the same issue. They held us on the bus for about 2 hours, which was, they drove us a block and then held us on a bus for 2 hours. And then it took them about 3 hours to process us. We were put into a cell, we were never given a phone call, we were never read rights. Then we were held there for a while. We were taken to A block and allowed to sleep for maybe 3 hours. And then they transported us to Van Nuys.
So how long were you all together arrested? How many days were you in jail?
3 days.
How was the condition? What was the condition of your treatment, the prison, and all that?
Well, we weren't talked to like human beings the whole time we were in there. Anytime we asked for assistance, it was oh yeah, I'll be right back, and then nobody would come back. We were asking for medical assistance. I have a chronic migraine condition. I had a migraine, and I was asking for a nurse for 10 hours. And finally saw a nurse after 10 hours who gave me ibuprofen and insisted that she was not able to turn down the floodlights that were coming into the cell. And I said, you know, I have light sensitivity. This is an extreme problem for me. Like, it's causing me immense pain. I was shaking. I was nauseous. And she's like, it's not my place. I can't do anything about it. And so I asked her to make a medical recommendation to an officer to turn down the lights. And that never happened. So we finally had the watch commander come over to talk to us, and the watch commander said, oh, well, you know, if the nurse gives us a medical recommendation to turn down the lights, we will. I was like, well, maybe you should go talk to your nurse then, because she wouldn't do anything about it. People were removed from the cell for chanting. Gosh, I mean, we weren't allowed toothbrushes, we weren't allowed soap, we weren't allowed showers, and finally, after over 48 hours at Van Nuys, we got a shower, towels this big, and what else?
Food, maybe?
The food was absolutely inedible. We did one of the women in my cell with me she's studying nutrition at school right now, and she did a calorie count, and it was 1,100 calories total which is obviously much less than is necessary on a daily basis. It was food it's food I wouldn't have fed to a stray dog, you know, and it was really difficult to eat. I tried to eat as much as possible to keep up my strength, but it was just so awful.
So did you sustain any injuries from when they rough handled you and all that?
Yeah, I still have pain in my wrists from the cuffs. When they carried me out, my wrist was completely bent up underneath me. And I have, like I said, I have a bruise here. I have a bruise on my hip. I have bruises all over my arms, on the top of my hands. The bruises here and here and here, here and there, right here. I have 2 big ones on the back of my leg right here, and then I have one here on my hip right there. And when I was handcuffed, we were sitting on a curb, and then they were walking us to our bus. When they were walking us to the bus, a police officer came and grabbed my arm, even though I was already on my way standing up. I was, using my leg strength to stand up on my own, and he came over and just grabbed my arm and started yanking me up. And I said, I can do it by myself. I'm standing up on my own. I don't need assistance. Thank you. And then they started walking me to the car, or walking me to the bus. And another officer came and grabbed my arm right here. Just like grabbed it super, super hard. And I looked at him and I said, is that necessary? I'm not resisting. I'm walking to the bus. You can lead me. You don't need to grab me like that. I weigh 100 pounds. Why are you grabbing me so rough? And he just scoffed and said, Jesus Christ, as if it was, my problem that he was abusing me.
Anything you would like to add?
The only thing I'd like to add is that they did their absolute best to squash dissent, but coming out from that situation, my strength in this movement is 100 times stronger.
Talk about the charges. What charges do they have against you now?
Failure to disperse at $5,000 bail.
Isn't civil disobedience, don't we have a law that it's only a $100 misdemeanor?
Yeah, see, I have no idea what the actual law is for bail, but when people were arrested at Bank of America for civil disobedience, they were cited on $100 total. So, yeah, I don't know how they got away with charging us $5,000 bail.
And then, are you going to appear in front of a judge later?
Yeah, on January 6th.
That's all of you, or just you by yourself?
That's me by myself because I was bailed out by a friend. So I think most people's court dates are January 5th or January 6th.
And then could you talk about some of the stuff that you saw in jail? Some, if other people got hurt or what happened,
Yes, one of my sisters was in her tent when the cops came. And she was either kicked or punched in the face. She's not really sure, but she had a big purple bruise on her face right by her eye. One of my other sisters was having intense pain in her shoulder because of the pain compliance they had used on her. They pulled her arms so high up above her, behind her, that if she felt like something was tearing in her shoulder. Another one of my sisters, when they did pain compliance with her leg, they twisted her knee so hard that she had intense pain in her knee. Most people had at least 5 bruises on themselves that they didn't have coming into it.
You mentioned something about one of your sisters.
They twisted her ear. They took her ear and they just kept twisting it and twisting it and twisting it. They also, like I said, they also were choking people out so that they would pass out. So
anything else you'd like to add?
They also came around this circle and were lying to people, telling them that if you don't lock arms, your charges will be raised to resisting arrest. And none of us were charged with resisting arrest, and none of us broke arms.
All right, thank you very much.